you only want in that room because I just closed the door. You would not want to go in that room otherwise right now. Don't mind Shelby. She's gonna wreak havoc in the background because what else do Shelbys do? Also, we have an Ellie here. Elle, come. See, here I am. Mwah. You can go play with your toys. Yeah, you go play with your toys. Anyways, I thought we would sit down, enjoy my Christmas tree for the last few minutes before I take everything down here because it is New Year's Eve and I always take it down before the new year. And I kind of thought we would just go over my 2025 goals. So I do have all of them like typed up for me. Thank you, Eleanor. I also like your squirrel. So I have these separated into like some different categories. So the first one we're going to get into are my YouTube goals for 2025. And I kind of want to start having a more consistent posting schedule as my first goal for it. I really did try to have a like twice a week one, which sometimes worked out, sometimes it did not for weeks on end. And I think maybe if I back it down to one video a week, I think that will be much more manageable. I have several in the works right now, so I should be able to get ahead a little bit on the scheduling for it. And if I post more than like one a week, that's great. But I think for sure I want to stick to Thursdays being an upload day for me so I can get those in there. The other one I kind of want to do upload wise is I kind of want to replace the one video I was doing with a short. And the reason, there's like a few reasons why I want to try to combine them, because like I said, I was having issues keeping a consistent schedule just mentally, and I would like to keep a consistent schedule. But also doing a weekly vlog started to become quite a bit, especially because I don't do much besides read. And a lot of the books I was reading were for other videos I'm going to sit down and talk about anyway. So I feel like it was kind of a moot point at that point for me to do a weekly vlog and then talk about it again. So I think I'm just going to be consolidating and just talking about that, and then I will do one short a week in there as well, is kind of what my goal is. I also, in the talking about vlogs, my second goal is I want to include more b-roll. So like some of the stuff I was doing in my weekly vlogs, putting that into my other vlogs that I'm talking about, where I'm talking about books, is just including some b-roll, which I did start dabbling with that a little bit throughout the year. And I really did in my last video where I did Christmas videos for the entire time I was off work, in that you can watch the dogs run around like a bunch of hooligans, mainly Sammy, but where I just put like a little bit of snippets in there. Third goal is I would like to keep a sprinting schedule up twice a week. This one is kind of up in the air time-wise for me right now, because Mondays probably will be having a little bit of a time change. I'm thinking about pushing them back 30 minutes. I kind of inadvertently did that this past week because of work and whatnot, but I think maybe pushing them back to 6 o'clock may be kind of my goal then, and still doing like 3 90-minute ones, but just pushing it back about 30 minutes or so. And then the second one is I would like to do sprints later in the week, and I was kind of starting to alternate Thursdays and Fridays. However, my work schedule is going to be changing at the end of January for Thursdays. So until we really get into like a groove on how that's all going to work with the new doctor coming in and me going back into our retina unit, I really can't say for sure if we're going to be able to do Thursday sprints. So I may push those off onto Fridays for the time being until we really get a settled in. But for the month of January, I might still hold Thursday sprints. It's kind of all up in the air at this point yet, but I would like to sprint twice a week is ideally my goal. And my last goal is I actually want to share my content more like in the Discord servers I'm in, because I'm really bad about sharing links when I do post new videos. And admittedly, I watch a lot of videos that I see posted in Discord, like share your socials. That's where I find a lot of new creators, and where I see like that people are uploading, as opposed to like all of my subscriptions that are like all of my bookish ones and all my true crime ones that are all thrown together, where I sometimes miss a lot of those. One of my goals is to actually share my content more so that I'm more consistent with it. Then moving on to some personal goals. I'm not going to share all of my personal goals for the year because some of them like are personal for me, but there are some I will share. So one of the things I want to get done in 2025 is I want to get organization. This is going to be my 3rd year living in this apartment, and I still don't have a very consistent organization to anything. And I did go and buy some organizational things to help keep everything organized, admittedly. Like my under the sink stuff, it was organized at one point, I swear. But I just start throwing stuff in there, and I bought organizers to help keep everything orderly, and so that like stuff isn't being knocked over, and then I'm just too lazy to pick everything up that knocked over and whatnot. So I did buy some organizers for under the sink. I would also like to buy organization for my bathroom, which I did purchase because I have a pedestal / floating sink where it's not really like a full pedestal because like the pipes are exposed, but like, you know, it's one of those where the pipes are exposed. I really kind of hate it. There's no actual storage in my bathroom, which is kind of annoying. So all my bathroom cleaning stuff is in the kitchen, and then like all the extra soap and toilet paper towels is like in my bedroom closet. So I bought this vanity, the unit that I can put around my sink to help organize stuff in the bathroom and then give me some of that storage back. And then I need to organize like literally everything. Like honestly, I just started shoving stuff places. I'm like, it's out of sight, out of mind. But like I really realistically need to go through my stuff and go, this is something I need to keep and this is something I can get rid of, because honestly, there's no point in me keeping 500 things if I'm not going to use them. And that also goes for my closet. 80% of my wardrobe is scrubs. Do I really need like 5 dressy outfits when I wear a dressy outfit maybe twice a year? Probably not, realistically. And I need to be honest with that kind of stuff about myself. Next thing is I want to organize my books better. My books are like literally everywhere. I need to be more realistic about unhauling books, I feel. Books that I truly feel that I am not going to reread. There is no point in me keeping them, honestly, unless I absolutely love them and would recommend it and loan it out to someone. Otherwise, I need to be realistic that I don't need all of these books, really. Although they're nice, realistically, I don't have like a ton of space for them. And on the same topic of books, I want to buy less books in 2025 because I'm buying them at a rate where I don't consume as many books as I read, in the sense that for every like 5 books I buy, I maybe read 1. And realistically, I should read the books I am buying. And so that's one of my goals, is to, for every book I buy, I need to read like 5 books that I own before I'm allowed to buy another book. Is kind of like the arbitrary rule I'm setting for myself in 2025. Another thing is I want to like save money better, which kind of goes in hand with books. Me not buying as many books allows me to save a bit more money, and I want to be able to put that towards other things that I want to do. And part of that is like switching away from like my phone provider that I've had literally since I was 12 years old, because it's the only company I've ever had. But realistically, I think the price they're charging me is kind of ridiculous. So one of my plans is saving up the money to then pay off my phone, because I did get a new phone this past year, and admittedly, yes, that is quite a bit of an expense. I really need a new phone. I kind of did. My phone didn't last for longer than 4 hours at that point, and it was old. But getting my phone paid off so that I can just switch providers into someone who is going to charge me exponentially less. Like, just to throw numbers out there, my current phone company charges me $115 a month for my phone plan and my bill, where I can switch to this other company and it's $45, if that, if I switch. And that's like such a big savings that this is one of my big goals, is to get off my phone plan. Gives me anxiety to have to like call them and cancel my service, but we gotta be a little bit of an adult in there and help save money in that sense, so that I can go and do other things, go out with my friends, my in real life friends more, and do things. Like, we have plans to like want to take trips together and whatnot, like girls trips, and I need to be able to save money for that kind of stuff. Also, in the same vein of saving money, I want to eat out less in the new year. I really try to stick to a rule of not eating out more than once a week. Sometimes it is 2 or 3 times though, and I would really like to stick to I'm only eating out once a week. Everything else I have to cook at home. 1, that saves me money, and 2, is honestly better for me. Last category here is my reading goals for 2025. So, like I was saying, that for like every book I buy, I need to read 5 books. for however many books I buy this year, realistically, I want to read at least half of the books I'm buying. And that includes my book of the month. So like you get, we'll say 14 book of the months, because at this point I get my free birthday book and the book of the year I can get. So I would need to read 7 of them, because honestly, it's kind of ridiculous how much of a backflow of book of the month I have. So I want to really just, and that's what most of my books are, admittedly. I just need to really knock some of these down. And like I mentioned before, I want to unhaul books that I'm not going to reread, that I'm not going to recommend to people, because it's just taking up space, and I can unhaul it, give it to a thrift store, give it to a library, and other people can then go enjoy that book. It's not like I'm throwing it in the dumpster. It's not like it's really money lost, because I'm not gaining money by just keeping it on a shelf anyways. Goal 3 is I want to buy less books. Like I said, I have so many books. I have over 200 books that I haven't even opened at this point. And I know other people have more, but like realistically, let's read the books I actually already own instead of just buying and buying and buying and consuming. 4, kind of already mentioned it, I need to read my book of the month books. If I'm going to justify keeping this the subscription longer than 2025 is what I've given my goal, I need to read my book of the month books and not have a 3-year backlog of books. Because at this point, I still have a ton of books from 2022 that I haven't even read yet. And I actually still have a holder from 2021. And at this point, if at the end of the year, I can't justify to myself still having the subscription if I have a ton of book of the month books that I haven't read. Last goal is I would like to participate in 1 book club a month. It's not going to be the same book club every month, besides the one that I am co-hosting with Moore from Moore's Bookshelf, which I will link her channel in the description. It's the Dangerous Dalliances book club. We do have our first book, A Cruel Thirst, which is going to start sometime here in January. That being said, I would like to participate in 1 other book club a month, whether that is just another book club in a Discord server I'm in, if it's a real life book club, if it's like a work book club, because sometimes we do talk about reading books together at work and discussing them. I just want to participate in 1 other a month just to kind of build more of a community type sense, and also support other people, like especially with here on like YouTube and like on Discord, like supporting other people with like, hey, I'll read your book club book this month and then jump over to someone else's, just kind of like to also show support for other people here. But those are kind of my 2025 goals, and now that we have that out of the way, it is time to take my Christmas tree down. I thought we would do a little bit of an unboxing with this, because this is some stuff I bought to help out in the new year. It came in a much bigger box than I anticipated. And I had to buy, I wanted to buy more stuff from Amazon. I didn't have to buy it from Amazon, but my lovely computer case has broke around the edges, and the bottom part will no longer stay on my computer. So I had to buy a new case, and I did splurge and spend a little bit more money on this new one, so hopefully it works a little bit better, because I probably honestly buy a new case at least once a year because I end up breaking it. Which is just a reminder, everyone, make sure you keep a case on your computer too, because I'm very prone to dropping things. Now, I was going to sit on the other side of the house, but Eleanor got excited because we had a package. And part of this package is for you, ma'am. Also, I had to move my cactus to over here because he's getting too tall for this shelf that's over here. So I had to switch the 2 plants. He's just getting a little too tall, which is fine. Okay. Oh, I know what this is. Like, what is this? I almost forgot what I even ordered, guys. And yeah, here's the new tripod stuff. And I also bought this to help. This is going to help with my goals this year. A paper towel holder that you can mount so that I can get the paper towels off of my counter, because I'm so done with them being on my counter and taking up space. And I don't use them all the time, but when I do need them, they're like in the way. They take up counter space. This must be filters. Yes. Okay, so this goes along with one of the other things I got. Perfect. which I hopefully shouldn't need those right away, but you know, nice to have them in case. So the filters are going with this lovely thing. I bought Ellie and Shelby a new water fountain. So they've had a water fountain for about the past year. I got one last December. And what happened is within 6 months, it stopped working and I couldn't figure it out. So I gave up and just bought a new one. Same brand. I was like, okay, maybe it was defective. Well, now I'm starting to have the same issues with this one where like if I unplug it to like go clean it out and then try to plug it back in, it doesn't want to run. And that's very frustrating and irritating because like it should run, but it's not. So I just am fed up with that brand. I can't find like the filters for it anyways. Like they're MIA and I don't know where to get them except for Amazon. And like, I mean, I can find some on Amazon, but not all of them because it has 2 filters. I can only find one of the filters on Amazon. The other one I can buy at one store here, and it's just annoying. So I went and found this other one. I got replacement filters for it. So new water fountain. It's a little bit smaller than their other one. This one's only 95 ounces. Their current one's 128 ounces. I think they'll be fine. You know, I'll just have to fill it up a little bit more, but like, if it works, I'm here for it. And then the last thing I got in this package, throw that box on the ground for Shelby, is I bought a storage bag for my tree. The box I had for it was just getting like really beat up. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to buy one of these tree storage bags because this is a little bit thicker. This is going to last longer. Like I said, my box was getting super beat up, so I got this for my tree. We're going to take down the tree this week, so I needed to get this. Ma'am, I already showed what I got you. This is just it's for the tree. Okay? It's for a tree. But that's everything I got, and then, you know, I placed another Amazon order because I broke my computer case. And I got some other stuff for one of my 2025 goals, which is organization. I got some organization stuff so that we can get my life semi together this year. All right, next bit, we're making it super cozy here, and I have myself a cup of tea, and I thought we would just go through and semi-plan my January TBR, and I have no anticipations of reading everything on this. My approach for 2025 is to be more chill with my readathons. I don't want to do a ton. I'm really trying to keep it down to 1 to a month. I will stretch it to 3 if there's like 2 shorter ones I'm putting together in there that are at different times during the month. And so I thought we would just start out with some readathons. I have my iPad here, and I'm going to do it a little bit differently than I normally do. I have these different like files. I just made a file for readathon. This is in the app Notability, which I've used since high school. And I kind of just have the readathons that I know I'm doing here in January. I'm going to be doing NewYearsathon hosted by Donna, and Books of Paradise, which is TBRathon hosted by Leandra. Both of those will be linked in the description box for you guys. And then I also found this lovely like, little reading tracker. I'll show you guys real quick. And you kind of just fill it in. It's kind of like almost like a genre blanket, but I just kind of want to look at it. Like I found this, and like I'm not doing any year-long readathons, but I would like to see what color scheme I kind of get. You know, you feel me? So I thought I would do that. I thought it would be fun. But we're going to start with Books of Paradise, which is one of the 3 options you can do for TBRathon. I kind of picked this one because I just kind of want to go with the flow, be a little bit more of a mood reader. I thought about going like A, B, C, but I think I'm just going to put options for all the books and kind of just go with what I'm vibing with. So for the most part, the books I'm putting on this are going to be for my Winter TBR video. So I do have a bunch of options that I went ahead and pre-picked for this. And I did make some notes on my phone. Let me pull those up before I forget. So we're kind of just going to go through and just put the books in different spots. Forgot I need to put text on. So the first one I'm going to do is Iron Flame. I really want to get through Iron Flame before Onyx Storm comes out, which I had pre-ordered. And I think I'm going to do that for the B prompt here. So like I said, I'm picking Iron Flame for the B prompt, which is Snowy Mountains. Climbers have braved these peaks for generations. It's all about mental strength, endurance, and patience. Read a book you've been anticipating for some time. And I've been meaning to get to this book for like 3 months now, so I really am anticipating it. I'm anticipating the new one too, so I kind of figured it fit. And the next one I have is House of Last Resort. I got this one from my grandma a few months ago, and I'm kind of excited. It's kind of like a COVID one, which I don't mind the COVID ones, but it kind of just like intrigued me. They're in a, like, it's kind of like a thrillery one, and I'm just kind of excited about it. And I think I'm gonna put that for D, which is Bed and Breakfast, a perfect place to warm your feet by the fire with a good book. Read a book with an isolated setting, or read any book in an isolated, quiet reading spot in its entirety. And I feel like I can do both because, like, I live, you know, with just my dog and cat, but also, I guess maybe not with the sirens going off near me, but it's because there's a hospital. But also, this is kind of like an isolated, like, the house is up on this hill, and they're kind of isolated from everyone else, like, they're in this house. Because I did start reading this, and I soft DNF'd it a while back, because I wasn't in the right headspace for, like, reading this. I was kind of getting into a reading slump, but I feel like it's going to be a good option there for me. Next one I have is Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, which I've been trying to get to for a while, but I'm going to put this for, if I can get it to move, I want to put this for I here, which is Major Metropolitan, the most populous city in books of paradise. Read a book with more ratings than your previous read on Goodreads, Storygraph, or among your friend group. And I actually don't know too many people in my friend group who have, like, talked about this book. At least I don't remember it, if they have. And it honestly has a lot of really high ratings on Goodreads and Storygraph, so I kind of figured I would go with it, you know? And then I'm going to do How to End a Love Story, which I want to put for E, which is over here, and which is Misty Forest. There is no way to enter this forest but blindly. Read a book you know absolutely nothing about. Do not read the synopsis beforehand, which is not a hard task for me to do because I generally don't read the synopsis. And honestly, I can't even tell you what happens in this book. It's a book I own. I got it from Book of the Month. I don't even remember why I picked it at this point. No clue. So we're kind of going into it blind anyways. Next one I have is the London Seance Society, and I think I was going to put that for F, which is Jungle. Flora and fauna learn to adapt in their jungle setting. Read a book with an ensemble cast, more than 2 point of view / voice narrators. And I've noticed that with Sarah Penner's books, they tend to switch back and forth between, like, the present and the past, which I'm kind of intrigued about. And there's also, like, a paranormal element from what I remember from this book, because I did read the synopsis not that long ago for a video. So I'm kind of intrigued by that one. And I think that will fit there. Next, we're going to do the Bane Chronicles, which I'm going to put in for G here, which is Hardback Harbor. The Lighthouse Guides Readers to Safety. Read a book that brings you comfort. And this is a one about Magnus Bane, which is one of the characters in the Mortal Instruments. He's also in the Infernal Devices. He pops up all over in the Shadowhunters universe, and I think it's going to bring comfort because it's a bunch of shorter stories. And while I'm not a big fan of shorter stories, it is more up my alley with it being part of a fantasy series where I read, like, snippets of stuff as opposed to the whole story. Because really I look at, like, the Shadowhunters universe as being, like, one giant story, especially with fantasy. And when they do, like, short stories, I'm more intrigued by them in that sense. And then we're going to do 56 Days here, which I'm going to put for J, which is Islander's Paradise. The rocky coastline and unpredictable seas surround the island, keep it quite isolated, but the islanders see no reason for leaving. Read a standalone novel. So there's no series to this. This one also takes place during COVID from what I remember, and I did read the synopsis not that long ago for my winter TBR video, and it involves a dead body, so it's a murder mystery, so I'm pretty intrigued by those, and I haven't read one in a bit, so I'm kind of interested to get around to that one. And then we're going to do the family game here, which I'm going to put in for M, which is Land Ho. Is that an uninhabited island? Read a new to you author. I've never read anything by Catherine Steadman, so I figured, why not? You know, that's my whole reasoning behind that one. And then I have Half-Blood Prince here, which I'm just trying to get through with my Harry Potter reread, and so I think I'm going to put this one in for N, which is Seaside Mountains. Locals say the view of the sea is worth the steep climb. Read a book that is over 500 pages. And I know this sucker is in the 600 page range, so that's kind of my whole reason for picking it for that one. And then while we're on the topic of Harry Potter, Deathly Hallows for my reread, I'm going to put in for R, which is Woodlands. Get lost on purpose. Read a book you think you'll get lost in a good way. And I always tend to get lost in repeating rereads of fantasy series, well, really just fantasy in general, so I feel like I will just fly through it and kind of forget that I'm even reading for a bit, which is hard with my ADHD sometimes. And then we're going to get into my lovely ghost books. So Ghost of Marlowe House is something I'm super excited about rereading, and I'm going to shove that in for A, which is Iceberg Ahead. Your vessel hit an iceberg. Read a specific subgenre within your favorite genre, unless you want to try your luck with a floating door. So, one of my favorite, I have a lot of favorite genres, they will admit that. One of my favorite genres is mystery, though, and I very in particular like cozy mysteries, but not only just cozy mysteries. I have a very, fondness of paranormal cozy mysteries, which that's what this one is, and I'm just excited to get ahead into this reread for it. And then along the same lines, book 2 in the series there is The Ghosts Who Love Diamonds, which I'm going to plug in for C, which is Chronicle Cruise. Full steam ahead, continue any series. If you don't have access to any series, read from an author you've read from before. Well, this is book 2 in the series, so it fits pretty easily. Those are some of the first ones I kind of figured out. Then we have book 3 in the same series here, which is The Ghost Who Wasn't, and I'm going to plug that one in for H, which is Railroad Tracks. This train is leading to a familiar destination. Read a book with a setting you have been to before. City, province, state, country, etc. This takes place in the United States. So that's pretty much what we're setting in. I haven't traveled very much. Just in general, my family never went on vacation. We just really didn't have the money for that when I was growing up. And quite frankly, I don't have anyone to go with me now, and I feel like I probably should not go alone to somewhere I don't know. So I don't really go on vacation. And if I do, it's within the state of Ohio yet. So I don't really go much outside the state. But that is in the US. So then we have The Ghost Who Wanted Revenge, which I'm going to plug in for K, which is Southern Sands. Those shelves would look great on your bookshelf. Read a book from an author or series you've been collecting. I've been collecting this series because I am going to be making a almost like a deep dive video into this series where I try to link everything, because quite frankly I've read up through book 30 or something and I'm starting to get confused on the timeline and how everything connects, so I thought I'd go back and kind of piece it all together for a video. And then the last book I kind of picked out for my TBR is A Dangerous Inheritance, which we are going to plug in for O, which is The Great Lake. A guidebook says this Great Lake is, wait, which one is it? Read a book with all of the Great Lakes letters in the title. Ontario, Erie, Michigan, Superior, or Huron. So I'm pretty sure I picked this one for Erie because there's an E, an R, an I, and another E in it. And that's pretty much it. I was like, Erie's going to be the easiest to do, so we're going to do that one. And I know this leaves some prompts empty, but quite frankly, I don't think I'm going to get through all of these books anyway, since I'm trying to take a more chillax, read to stuff this year. So I feel like this is a good selection to go ahead and pick from. Just kind of mood read whatever I feel like. So we're back, and for this one we are going to be doing some New Yearsathon planning, which is taking place from January 1st to the 15th, and this one is hosted by Donna. And so this one is also, I'm going to take a chill, relax to it, but I kind of picked out some books for the book prompts, and I'm kind of just going to mood read. And so we're going to start with Iron Flame, and I really want to start the year with Iron Flame. I've kind of already decided that before even making these TBRs that I kind of want to start the year off with Iron Flame, so we're going to just do that one. And then for a book published in 2024, I looked up House of Last Resort was. And then my most recent book added to my TBR is Metal Slinger, which is Katie from I Would Rather Be Reading and Rainy from Rainy Blue Reads. Both will be linked in the description. They host the Tortured Readers book club, and that's their book for January, and I'm trying to do a book club read every single month from someone's book club that I can get like a hold of. And since this one is available on KU, I went ahead and added it. And honestly, I'm a big fantasy romance, and honestly most of the books that like Katie and Rennie have picked I've ended up enjoying, so I figured I would enjoy this one as well. And then for a book with a gold or silver on the cover, I have the London Seance Society, because it's this nice goldish color to begin with. And then a book that was on a past TBR is How to End a Love Story. It's been on my TBR forever. It's repeatedly made rounds on TBRs since I pretty much got the book. So kind of there. This one's not as much, but then there are other goals like make a bookish goal, which I'm going to be sitting down and making those a little bit more here. Cozy reading night is going to be easy. Get creative. Another thing I want to do is more of my diamond painting stuff, and decluttering is also on my 2025 goal, so this should be pretty easy for me to hit a bingo in some sort.